Hi, I'm Steve Simpson, and I'm the Republican candidate for Attorney General this November 8th.
We were married in 1986. Another great memory for me because my father was on the bench then. Stephen has performed weddings for people, but my dad walked me down the aisle in the church that we grew up in, First Methodist in Pontotoc, Mississippi, gave me away, and then walked around the rail beside our minister and married us. So that was a wonderful memory from 25 years ago. And I remember I went home and told my dad I had met him, and my father served in the legislature with Stephen's father. My father was in the Senate before he went on the bench, and Steve's dad was in the House of Representatives, and they knew each other and had great respect for each other. As you can imagine, from looking at him, he has always been very protective of me and our daughters. He will apply these same standards to the job of Attorney General when he takes office there.
It's very difficult as a father and who's just always been dad to watch his daughters grow up and become young ladies. And there's a natural tendency, I think, for dads to try to just keep them small and keep them innocent and keep them young for as long as you possibly can.
Dad is extremely overprotective, and he would stand on the corner of our house and just stare at me for hours, making sure that I stayed on our street in my Barbie convertible.
A great deal of time listening to Mississippians, listening to Main Street Mississippians' concerns about the issues that this state faces and about what our Attorney General's office can do to help our state move forward. Listening to them and talking to them about their concerns, the Obama health care plan, the corruption of our legal and judicial system in recent years, the business environment of this state, the opportunity to bring outside business and create those good jobs in Mississippi, which are critical to our future. So it's been a great experience. We've met thousands and thousands of wonderful people and gained support all over the state. I have a wealth of experience in the arena of prosecution and protecting Mississippi rights. Over 7 years as a prosecutor, and then over 8 years as a circuit court judge, and the last 3 years as the chief law enforcement officer in this state. Very few professions, in my experience, where at the end of the day you can come home and sit down in front of the evening news and really know in your soul that you've made your community, your county, or your city a safer place to live because you've taken someone out of that community and put them in the state penitentiary. Initiative 26 with respect to personhood, which will define when life begins in Mississippi by an amendment to our state constitution. I've stated publicly in many places that I support Initiative 26, and as Attorney General will defend it. The voter ID initiative is also on the ballot this November 8th, and I've publicly been on the record many times saying that I support that initiative and will likewise defend as Attorney General any legal challenges that may be brought to the voter ID initiative. I do believe it's going to pass on November 8th. I'm going to vote for it. The right to vote is a protected right and a very valuable right that people own in this state, and the integrity of elections should be protected by the Voter ID Act. My opponent, Jim Hood, does not support voter ID. The differences with Attorney General Jim Hood and his support of the Obama administration's agenda, particularly with respect to the national health care, is vastly different and opposite of what Mississippi's want. Over 78% of Mississippians said they opposed the health care program and the unfunded mandate that Congress sent to Mississippi. Yet he's not stood up for Mississippians' will. He's not represented their opinion. And as the state attorney general, I think you have an obligation to represent the will of your client. Those are huge differences between myself and the current administration.
Well, in a few years, my friends and I will be graduating, and this Obamacare is just killing our opportunities for jobs left and right, and I'm excited that my dad's going to be the one to fight it in the Attorney General's office.
If you take that experience and my qualifications and background and the conservative Republican values that this state holds so dearly, I think it clearly makes me the best candidate to be Mississippi's next Attorney General. Mississippians will have a chance really to make history on November 8th and elect the first Republican Attorney General in this state's history.